What's up, growers and chili heads? So hopefully you guys are enjoying the series so far. We're about to get cracking here on the next episode. If you guys recall from the last one that I uploaded, I think I'm gonna probably be able to upload most of these around the same time, but if you didn't catch the last one, go check it out. But in this one, we're gonna be setting up the ventilation. We're gonna be setting up the rack here for the lights and for the new grow table, get things where they need to be. And then we're gonna set up the inlet from the house where we're gonna be pulling, instead of fresh air from outside, which is gonna be, too cold for the grow space, which is gonna cost, an arm and a leg running our mini split in here. We're gonna pull from the house, which we had talked about, it's gonna be a more stable temp, it's gonna be cleaner air, less pests that we got to worry about, and higher CO levels, because it's pulling from an occupied space. And then for our exhaust, we're going to be installing an exhaust that's about, 2/3 the size of what we're bringing in, and that's going to keep a positive pressure in the space, also helping to keep the pests out in any cracks or real small spaces that our sealing didn't do a good enough job. At least that's the idea there. Other than that, like, subscribe, share. Make sure you check out the other videos so you don't miss anything. And we're gonna get cracking so we can get this space finished out.
So here, as awesome as it is to get some added space, I ran out of budget when it came to getting more lights. So I had some of these 2-foot fluorescent fixtures and some steel stud hanging around, and just decided to make my own little rack for the time being.
All right, guys, I'm gonna bring you guys in here real quick in case this isn't very apparent. So we got all of the lights here. Let me flip you around. Okay, so we got all the lights on here. Most fixtures you're gonna have, probably usually 2 screws on them. Just pop these 2 out, and then you're gonna just carefully set this off to the side. And then there's actually holes pre-made, because this is typically how, these standard fluorescent fixtures are usually set up. So I tacked those right through the steel stud here. So if you're using a 2x4, you could just rip it in with a drywall screw and have no issue. Now what I'm doing here is, just kind of taking, zoom out a little bit, just taking a quick second when you're doing this. Try to really think as far ahead as you can on how you're going to manage your wires, how you're going to hang it, where you're going to attach it, and then also just think of your light coverage. So there for a second I was just kind of running and gunning, and I almost screwed up my spacing on the lights to where I wasn't going to have good enough coverage. So, and then even if you could just put, a couple of little pieces of marking tape, kind of showing you a visualization of where your table is going, that's gonna probably save you a lot of heartache in the end. And then, like I said, these lights are, I think they're like 40 watts or so a pop, and they can have a total connected of, I think, like 350 watts. But I'm gonna run these 2 in parallel, even though I could series them all together, just because I don't want to deal with any voltage drop. That's could potentially drop my intensity any lower than it already is. So with that, we're gonna get these mounted, and my trusses run this way. So I'm gonna try and get as even as I can where I hang my 2 mounting eyes, and then we'll drop the ratchet there and hang 2 mounting eyes on each one of these and raise them, and then we can jump to the ventilation portion.
So I got these 2-foot grow lights from Lowe's, and I think regularly they're like $40, but they had a sale on them for, I think I got them for like $20, and they do sales on them here and there. But I was using them on my seed starting rack, and I wasn't able to transplant right away, and I was actually able to get some of the Bukino peppers to fruit with them, so I think that they're gonna work for this.
Alright guys, so I wanted to show you something here real quick. If you remember when we did the walkthrough a couple episodes back, we're gonna be using these collars in order to pump our fresh air into the grow room. And instead of pumping in from outside, I'm pumping from inside the house, so we can get increased CO2 and stuff like that. But at any rate, you could order these on Amazon. If anyone requests, I'll find the link and throw it in. But it's just a little 6-inch plastic collar. And then in order to finish this out, I got this at Lowe's. So it's just a 360 round register. So what I did is I went up in the attic, found a spot that I wanted to pull from, which I'm gonna pull from my laundry room. It's stuffy in here, we don't have a vent in here. And picked a good spot, held it up to the hole where I wanted it to go, marked it out with a Sharpie, and then I went ahead and I sat this register on my little plastic collar here, ran screws through it so it'll be tight, and then what I did is I put this back over the hole that I made, and then I pushed hard enough to where the screws made an indent. So if you can envision it, I'm gonna preset all this up and probably do a little time lapse after everything's set up, but this is gonna go on top of your drywall in your attic. You'll come down, I'm gonna come down here from the bottom, line these holes up with where I have those marks. I'm gonna pre-drill those. So I'll just have the light on in the attic so I can see the light coming through. Once I have that there, I'll have someone who can help me put a little bit of pressure on this, and then I'll zip this up. That's going to keep this in a really tight fashion. So the best way to do it would be to go with like a 20 by 20 box, and then put a return filter grill in there. If this works out really well, I'll probably take this out later and put a return grill in here, and then add another 6, because you can put multiple ducts on a return box. That might be another video. But at any rate, I'll go ahead and set this up, and then we'll do a quick time lapse of everything going together. Alrighty guys, so we're up here in the attic. Here's our duct. It's an R6 6-inch duct, and there is my laundry room. So we're gonna attach this duct onto here, and then we got it running. Here's our little strap. So you throw a screw there, come down, adjust it so it's not all, kinked. Clean it up a little bit, and then here is where, give me a second. Here's where we're coming in. I'm gonna show you one little trick here. So your insulated duct, when you open it up, it'll kind of come as a mess all over the place. But what you're going to want to do is just kind of roll it in. If you can see my thumb shoving, you're going to roll the insulation in. Now when you cut your ducts to size, it's got this steel banding in there. And in order to cut this, you're gonna need a pair of lineman pliers or some side cutters, because it's like a stainless steel. Now what I do is slide some of this back. Start it on the back end carefully, and then slide it down. Seems pretty self-explanatory. Slide it down here a little bit. And this isn't Bob Vila, but I mean, you could use this if you wanted to add a duct to a room or something like that. And then what I do is I grab my duct tape, not your regular gray duct tape, but for actual HVAC. And when you go to buy this, I mentioned before, this is silver in color, but don't get the foil tape. Foil tape is not for this. So it's pliable, it's not foil. And then just kind of move some of this stuff out of your way, put it right on the duct, just go wrap around. Don't get too much insulation in your way. Don't be scared of it. And then after you get the inner coil around there, you're going to pull this insulation down. And then you got to tape it again. Insulation. Get it on the insulation and get it on your collar. There you go. Ductwork 101. Alrighty guys, so I showed you how we did the inside where we're pulling air from. We're going to be running, let me flip you guys around. So we're going to be running this duct from that vent that we put in, and then we'll use in the duct in the HVAC area at Lowe's or Depot. You can get these duct support webbing straps, pretty cheap. And if you can see right there on their photo, there's not going to be great lighting in the attic, so we might not film up there, but you're just going to cut however long you need, screw it with a drywall screw, whatever, wrap it around your duct, get it supported so it doesn't get crinkled. And then where I'm coming in to the grow space, I'm going to be drilling my other hole right here. Now, how are you going to connect that, Dave? All right, so I got another 2 of these bad boys. And what we're going to do, I'll be able to screw the one on the bottom to the one on the top with the drywall in the middle, and that's going to hold that extremely tight. And then we'll be able to run our duct from the attic to the top collar, and then I can run the duct from the one here in the grow space to our AC Infinity fan, and then voila. Alrighty guys, so I'm going to do this in the time lapse, but I wanted to take a quick second to show you guys what we're doing here for the vent to the exterior. So you can get these at Lowe's. I tried to use stuff that you don't have to go to an AC supply house for. Could this run, I don't know, 10, 12 bucks, something like that. And it's going to be just where all of the registers are at and your filters. It's just a dryer vent. So, and then this is going to keep out some of the bigger insects. We're not too worried about that because we're going to use the AC Infinity filter because I'm not going to need it for the intake. So I figured why not use it for this. So we'll see how this rolls. But so 4-inch vent, and then I'm going to have to there's a tool, and I'll probably just post a photo of it right here somewhere. And I don't know where it's at, somewhere here in my garage. My place is a mess right now. But essentially, you just go around and crimp these, and it opens up something that's the same diameter. So this is a 4x6 transition. So unfortunately, these are both 4-inch. So one's got to be crinkled a little bit in order to fit over it, and then I'll be able to Tek screw it. So this is going to slide through the wall. Here's your drywall, and then this I'll slide into that, and then on the end of this 4x6 transition, I'll use this filter here. This slides over it, I'll Tek screw it around there, and then depending on how well I like that, I might use some duct tape. Now, not your standard gray duct tape, but actual ducting tape. So at any rate, I wanted to bring you up close for that real quick, and now we'll kick on the time lapse again.
So this video ended up being a little bit long, so we didn't get a chance to get to the AC Infinity controls, but we'll probably do another video jumping into all the automation of using the controller 69 that comes with the AC Infinity exhaust system. So keep an eye out for that. Definitely want to get my humidity with my humidifier, my dehumidifier all squared away with using that controller. And I've already played with it a little bit, and it's a pretty slick little setup.
All right, chili heads and growers, that is it for this one. As far as ventilation, we are complete. We've got our AC Infinity filter ducted to the outside. I'll show you guys that. It's gonna be a little dark. Right there. That door open, hard to see, but we got a positive pressure in the room like we were hoping for. So with all the doors closed and the fan fully on, with this port we're maintaining 0.3 inches of positive pressure in here. So that's pretty good. I think that's going to help with the pest issues. The fan is a little loud, so I got a mic on the phone, and I'm sure you guys can hear it. Not too bad though. It's pretty cool. The controller, this bad boy, it's pretty cool. Yeah, the readings are pretty spot on. It came with a, so you guys can read that. So it's 78 in here, 31% relative humidity. And we got this little probe here dropped into the canopy of the, where the plants are gonna end up. And if I compare it to my actual, it won't let me flip it around, but it says we're at 79 and around 30 on the humidity. So with that, what do we got next? So next up is starting to set up for water. We have one more table that's going in here. It's going to go in this vicinity right here. And we'll go ahead and do a video on that alone. If you're thinking about getting the fast fit tables, that way it's not in a time lapse. I'll go ahead and put that together on a separate video. So if you are thinking of getting it and you want to save yourself a little bit of heartache, go ahead and check that out. Otherwise, like, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.